friggin' amazing. Like, even though we aren't an agency, I still have all our sites running through GoWP, and I love the service because like I used to have a guy that handled all this stuff for me, but now it's just so much easier to message GoWP and know all my stuff is sorted. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
pretty
Thank
sure
you. Glad to hear
I
that.
sent in I sent in a request before I went to bed too, so I better go check that. I haven't
Oh,
had
yeah.
time yet. Anyway, yeah, let's talk productivity. I kind of built an obsession for productivity since maybe I was doing the maths last night. I think it's about 4 or 5 years ago. I hit a kind of breaking point with just being too busy and not making enough money. And like, I think many agency owners can relate to this, like the fact that you're just doing all this stuff all the time, you're like doing websites, doing the work, and then you get to the end of the month and it's like, why is there no money in my account? Like, where did the frig did it go? I was in that point. Loads of agency owners are usually in that boat. So I kind of became obsessed with just getting more stuff done in less time. And anyone that's seen anything of mine before, it's usually automation that I talk about. Like I talk about Zapier, which I'm not going to cover in this except for like a dot point because I rave on about it so much. But automation was a huge part of this, right? I saved like 100+ hours a month just with Zapier. Um, you know, and all these different things I put together, I realized I didn't focus when I'm talking to people. I don't focus on like the stuff I do day to day as much as just Zapier. So that's why I've been talking a lot about productivity lately, just because I've realized after talking to people that there is just some simple stuff that you can implement that'll change your life. Like since I spoke about this last, I've been getting so many messages about like, oh my God, like this thing has saved me this much time. I'm using this thing in this way. And it's just like, it's so cool to get that feedback. So if you do listen to this, take something away, please tell me what you used and how much it saved you, because I'd love to hear that. Because I mean, and then I can sort of focus on that more in future talks. But I'm going to share my screen, get into this guy. And if you've heard me talk recently, yeah, you're probably gonna, a lot of this is going to be familiar. And that's because productivity stuff, it's like, it's just core principles, right? Like there's no magic. There is a lot of magic, cool stuff in here, but you know, this is pretty much going to be a brain dump of everything that I do in my life to become more productive. So it's going to be a bit intense. You're going to learn a bunch of my favorite tools, and more importantly, how to use them effectively. So a lot of people get hung up on the tools, like, you know, oh, what project management system do you use? Like that really doesn't matter that much, not as much as you think. It's more about the systems that you implement using it. As long as the project management system isn't too restrictive, then you're fine. Yeah, so just don't get hung up on the tools. And like I said, this is going to be intense. It's going to be like drinking from a fire hose. I'm just going to spew a bunch of stuff at you because I think I've only got half an hour. And so let's get into it. Just a few little screenshots on why I'm so into productivity, even though I've talked about kind of why I did it personally. But this is a little screenshot from my text expander, which is one of the tools we'll talk about. Now, this says I've saved an hour-ish in the last month on just typing alone. I think it's a lot more than this because I use Text Expander in some tricky ways that save me having to like search through like my Google Drive or my blog posts if I want to send them to someone. You'll see this in a minute. I think this is incorrect. I think it's a lot, like probably 4 to 5 times this amount of time saved. So there's like 5 hours. It was just so easy. This is an old screenshot of my Zapier account. Now it runs about 12,000 tasks a month. This one's showing 9. And that 12,000 equates, if at 30 seconds a task, equates to over 100 hours a month, which is nuts, right? That's like almost a whole full-time person in Zapier. And I found this amazing statistic, which, you know, I don't know how much it applies to savvy business owners, but this thing here says the average office worker spends 2.5 hours a day reading and responding to this many 200 emails, and only 144 of those aren't relevant to their job. So if you put like extrapolate this to the size of a career, that's 10 years spent on useless emails over a career. So it's pretty insane. Like I don't know how to fact check this because obviously but I wouldn't be surprised. I remember back in the day when I was in a corporate job and crap emails you get. And And now that I'm a bit better at managing emails, it's a lot less, but I can totally see this being the truth. Now, productivity can be a trap. A lot of people will say, like, you pretty much Google productivity is a trap. There'll be some people talking about it, because you can get like too focused on just being so productive that you don't do the things, just fundamental things you're supposed to do as a business owner, like create processes for other people and build out a team. That said, being more productive can mean you don't need to hire someone else, especially with like Zapier. I know a student of mine with the Zapier Mastery course was tossing up between hiring a VA and setting a bunch of stuff up with Zapier, and he went with Zapier and saved the money on that. But you can go too far and kind of become a one-man band instead of hiring people to do the things that you probably shouldn't be doing. Just something to think about. So the first thing I want to cover is it's a task management system or to-do system. There's no real good word for this. I'm talking about your personal, the way you manage what you have to do personally. So not necessarily a project management system. This is the core. I feel like this should be the core of everything you do. Like, I have my task management open on a side window all day that I can pull up whenever I need to get in there. It could be your project management system, could be a simple to-do list. I'm not going to dig into the nuts and bolts of it, but I just want to talk about some general principles. So number one, everything needs to get added. So, if you're just walking around, or like, for example, with me, like if I'm driving, I have a voice commands that'll add something to my system. If I have a good marketing idea or something, or, if I'm walking around, I can just add it quickly. I've got a shortcut to do that on my phone. People always say I have a good memory for doing stuff. And I always laugh because that's absolute bullshit, because it just got added to my to-do system or calendar, right? Like it's just, if it doesn't get added, I'll forget. So, yeah. And then basically from there, once everything's in, you categorize it and prioritize it. And I do this in a couple of ways. This is my Trello, which, if you're following me, I literally released a video on this, like earlier this week I just switched to ClickUp for my to-do system. It's kind of frustrating me in a few ways already, but, again, the tool doesn't matter. The main thing is your system, right? So there's a couple of things going on here. I've got the ABCD system over the top, which is my, I guess, prioritization. So, is this a very important, nice to have task? And then I use the colors to distinguish, like a category. In this case, it's what day of the week. I use daily theming. So orange there is Mondays, for like content production, Tuesdays, content promotion. So they're my categories. And then when it comes to what I'm going to work on today, all I have to do is find the highest priority tasks of today's color. And then that's what I work on, right? And I put a manageable amount of stuff in the today column and just work on it. So this system really helps. Like having a good system helps. Like, motivation doesn't become a problem. It's no longer a problem when you have a system like this, because it's just like, that's what I work on today. There's no like, oh, I don't feel like doing this thing. It's like, no, this is my system. I just pick the task and I go. So even on down days, I end up doing a lot of work, and the right work too. So I think having a good system really helps you fall back when you aren't feeling great. Yeah. So number 2, email. This is one of the hardest, I think, or the biggest productivity problems that almost everybody has. Like, I got an email yesterday. He might even be watching this. If Dan's watching this, he said, like, how do you stop your phone and email like constantly notifying you or like constantly interrupting? I was like, don't have it open. Like, that's all you've got to do. Like, literally, phone on do not disturb, email not open, unless it's in the boxes of time you allow to read email, right? Because essentially email is the to-do list that other people add to. Like, would you ever go and give your link to your project management system, like a public link, and just like stick it on Facebook and go, hey guys, add some shit for me to do? Of course you're never going to do that, because like, that's just a stupid idea, right? Like you don't want people doing that, but that's exactly what email is. Anyone can email you and add stuff to your to-do list. So we have to be really protective of, you have to be really protective of your inbox. So first thing, unsubscribe from stuff, like be ruthless with this. So pretty much Monday mornings, I end up having a clean out, like crap will get dumped in my office here, if you can see that, but like Monday morning, I clean it, make sure it's like nice because I don't want that stuff in my life. I also clean out my inbox and all my labels and everything with newsletters that I don't want to be on anymore. You can use unroll.me as a tool that'll go and find all the things you subscribe to. It'll kind of blow your mind of how many things you are subscribed to. And then you can quickly unsubscribe or like roll them up into one daily email. So just quickly, because I want to use this opportunity to have coffee, is there any questions yet? I just want to make sure people don't hold back either, because I'd prefer this to be somewhat interactive.
Yeah, so there aren't any, well, there's one question. I'm not sure if it's a real question or not. It's from Robert Jacoby, so you never know. He says, I wonder if Power Automate will come up. So that was the one question.
No, it won't.
Nope, not going to come up, Robert. Sorry.
I'm going to Google it though. Oh, you're talking about Flow. Yeah, okay. I didn't realize they'd renamed it. No, I have not used Microsoft Flow yet, but it is something I've been meaning to dig into for sure.
Cool.
Anyway.
Other than that, just a lot of comments of people loving your advice. So
thank you.
Beth Livingston is a big fan of yours, I'm sure.
Good old Beth. Hey, Beth.
And she said her most productive days are the ones where she turns everything off, and she learned that from you. So that's great.
Nice. Yeah. Well, something I need to add to this presentation on that note, which I haven't. The biggest productivity tool I can give you is the word no. Just say no to more stuff, whether that is like clients' crappy tasks, a client that you don't want. It can even be something that a good client asks you for and you just truly don't have the time to do it right now. You're allowed to say, I don't have the time for that right now, but we can do it in 2 weeks. You're allowed to do that. You're a business owner. Like, put your foot down. So you can say no to tasks. Like every so often I go into my task management, I've categorized stuff like I was talking about before, it might be even in the B column. So it's like, I thought it was an important task 2 months ago when I added it, it's not done yet. And I look at it, I'm like, do I really need to do that? No. So like you can even say no to yourself and your tasks, and I just delete it and forget about it. One trick with that is also filing it away into like a sub to-do list. So I have like a second Trello board that I dump all my like ideas, my someday marketing ideas, even though I'll probably never ever do them. It's just like a mental thing. You don't want to delete this thing. It's like, oh, maybe that'll be a good thing for my business. But you just move it over there and maybe scan it once a month. And one of those ideas might be more relevant. So that's a cool little trick to just delete shit without worrying about it. But let's get back to email. That was a massive tangent. The next thing are filters and labels. So all the most productive people and the most effective people I know are very good with this. Even my business partner, before we got into online business, was like, anything that he was CC'd or BCC'd on, he'd automatically put in like a folder and basically never read it. And people got to know that. It's like, you have to send something directly to him if you want his attention. So there's lots of different effective ways you can use filters. So one here, for example, newsletters. I don't use this system because I use SaneBox just quickly. You can see on the right-hand side there, there's Sane Bulk and Sane Later. And that does a really good job of pulling newsletters into Sane Later and like notifications, like sale payment notifications or book calendar bookings, all that sort of stuff. It ends up getting pulled into Sane Bulk. And you can train it. You can move emails around. It automatically learns what folders you want to put them in. So it's a pretty cool system. But if you want to do this manually, you can do something like, so with WordPress, I think I have it here. Yeah. So if you WordPress with Gmail or G Suite, if you put a plus in your email address and then something after it, that gets completely ignored by like your inbox, I guess. So if you subscribe to a newsletter with me plus newsletters at cows.com, as you can see there, that will come to me at cows.com. It just strips that plus thing and then still comes to your inbox. And so it doesn't really strip it. It's still in the to address. It just comes into your inbox. And why that's cool then is you can create a filter or a search on plus newsletters in the to field and then automatically put it in your newsletter label. And you can apply this to anything, right? Like alerts, like security alerts, downtime alerts. You can have a folder for that, whatever. So basically plus anything gets ignored and then you can use it for filters. That's where I was going with that. And also dot, it ignores like periods. I've never really used that, but it's just something to think about that you can use.
Yeah, I do see some people. I manage our newsletter for GoWP, and it's pretty rare though that I see somebody subscribe with the plus newsletter. But occasionally I do, and I say, "Oh, this person's got it together."
Yeah, that's it, right? Like it feels a little bit like, oh, they use the plus newsletter,
Right?
but
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the same time, it's like, no, they've got their shit together. It's good.
Yep, exactly. We did have a couple questions regarding
Sure.
emails and inbox. So,
Mhm.
so from Kaylin and Kaylin and Trevor, do you time box your emails is a question. So
Yes.
do you know any tools that would actually prevent incoming emails until you're ready to actually check it? So, because, it's hard to stop yourself when you see that there's new emails there. If you have that tab open or something like that
Well, the first thing is close that tab.
close the tab. Yeah. As I was saying it, I knew the answer.
Straight up close that tab. I know I don't officially time box, like I don't say, oh, at 11 o'clock, I'll go and check my email. It's usually just like after I've done so much work. So I was talking about with my daily themes, like content production, email doesn't get checked until I'm happy with how much content I've made. And sometimes that's like 4 p.m. on Monday. Like I literally haven't checked it. Although a lot of the times, like I said, I do check it first thing Monday morning for a clean out. Like I don't even respond to any emails. I just unsubscribe from shit and delete shit on a Monday morning. Now, yeah, I mean, it works different for everyone. I think there is an inbox pause. It's called something like that, which you can actually stop your inbox updating until you unpause it. I search for like inbox pause.
Yeah. Trevor said he used boomerang pause inbox is one.
Yeah, boomerang's another option. Yeah, I don't use boomerang because the main thing is like email follow-ups. I think I might even talk about it at some point. Follow-up then is a tool that I use and it's kind of overlaps a lot with boomerang. But yeah, my inbox pause for me is just not having the tab open and looking at it when I want to look at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all cool. Biggest thing, like if you're working on focused tasks, just close all the shit, like Facebook and Gmail, and just do the thing until, I mean, obviously that's a level of self-control that sometimes you don't have, like on like days where you're just not feeling up to it, you might not have that level of self-control. So that's when I guess tools can help. All right. So next thing, what am I talking about here? Oh yeah, using one inbox. So a lot of people I know have multiple inboxes that they check. I just can't think of anything worse. I only just want one email to go to and check all my things. But you can easily, with Gmail, you can forward emails from all your other inboxes. You say when something arrives, forward to this other address. You can then create labels. So you could create like a filter on if it was sent to another address that got forwarded to you. You can put special labels in your inbox address. Just say automatically anything that comes from like this forwarding address, label it with a certain color. And then you can have reply as set up. So in Gmail, you can set up multiple reply addresses. So it'll automatically reply as the one that it was sent to. So you don't have to like have multiple inboxes if you are doing that. Just bring it all together and use one Gmail inbox. I actually use my personal one for everything. That James Rose 86 there, like my calendar, everything is all under that. But like I've got 8 email addresses that come to that now. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, signature. So just quickly talk about Wisestamp. I really like this tool. It's a paid signature tool, which kind of seems silly, but it pulls in my latest podcast and latest blog every week, like whenever I send an email. So it's just like there if people do see it. It gets a few clicks on my socials. It looks nice. So just a cool little tool. And this is follow up then. So this is another email productivity tool because uh, one of my favorites. I just realized the founder's on my email list the other day because he replied to a question that I sent out because I talk about their product so much. But I love this tool for following up, reminding me to follow up with people because it's so simple. You don't need a browser extension like things like Boomerang and all that. You need an extension or like plug in things. Follow up then is literally just an email address that you CC or BCC. So you can do it on mobile, whatever. And you put in an address like 5 days at followupthen.com and the email will bounce back to you in 5 days. Really good to be on top of your follow-ups. Even it's not just like you could follow up people for not paying invoices or for information you need from them or someone that you're trying to chase for a potential partnership or to go on their podcast. Like you can use it for anything. People will forget to reply to you. They will. It's just how it is. They're probably not very good with their email and it'll get buried and you need to stay top of mind. So following up is a great skill to have. And this kind of forces you to do it. Like it pops back into your inbox and you're like, oh shit, I have to follow up with that person now. I don't know. There's like a feeling I have to get that off my list now rather than, oh, I don't want to follow up with that person. It's like in my inbox there and I'm like, okay, I got to get rid of that. I got to reply to that person. All right. And finally, just a few things that shouldn't be in your email. First thing is chat. Like if you're still talking with freelancers and contractors and that, contractors might not want to work in your Slack system, depending on how much work you do with them. If it's a couple of emails a month, it's not a big deal. But if you're sending a lot of email back and forward to one person, chat is not something that should be, that shouldn't be in your email. Calendly, bookings stuff. Most people have got this sorted by now, but if I get another email about like what time works for you from someone in a different time zone and they haven't even told me their time zone, like I'm going to bloody shoot someone. It's like, it's so silly that people still have this like backwards and forwards over times to book. So just Calendly's nice because it's very easy for your clients. Like people still use Book Like a Boss, and I think it's because it's a lifetime deal. I got the lifetime deal for that, and I don't use it because client experience is crap. And I was going to say, it doesn't send calendar invites automatically. So if they book in a time, they have to click another button, which really isn't very obvious. And people don't. They're so used to going, okay, I booked it in, close the window. And if it's not on their calendar, if they run by their calendar, they're not going to show up to the meeting. And I had so many no-shows because of Book Like a Boss. So I switched to Calendly and I haven't had a problem since. That's just such an important feature that they don't have, unfortunately. But yeah, so email reminders to get them to show up to the booking and put it on their calendar, both important. And then a quick shameless plug, getting content and information for people shouldn't be in your email. Our product Content Snare is for digital agencies. Actually, really any business. We have events managed. So this is an event. Person who runs an online summit collecting speaker information. We have mortgage brokers using it to collect documentations for finance applications, legal firms, anyone that gets information from their clients. It's just not something that should be an email because it is like the bane of so many companies' existence to like chase clients for content constantly. So not something that should be in your email. I am running way behind here, so I might have to cut this short. Just Emily, if you want to cut me off, just let me know because I do have still a lot to get through.
No, it's fine. Keep going. People are still engaged and watching, so let's awesome. Keep going.
That's
and
good.
Just to let you, everyone was like loving the email stuff, and I know this is a distraction, but I feel bad not letting you know that Matt Davies has said listening to Jimmy is like being swarmed by adorable fluffy puppies. So there's some motivation puppies. To keep going.
They're like those flaming puppies from Pokemon, I feel like. Not. Hi, Matt, and thank you. Love you. Calendar is another thing you have to be really protective of, right? So if you are using Calendly, make sure you block out times that are for you. So example there is like this booking I won't take on Monday mornings. You can see it. It's from 12 p.m. Only will I take bookings. 3 p.m. on Fridays because it's beer o'clock. It's like, this is another thing you've got to be protective of. If you're like, if you get a booking for something, you see like for example, if I saw someone book in at 4 p.m. on a Friday, I'd be like, God damn it. Like, I don't want to do that. So block it out. Like, if you find yourself getting irritated with certain times or days of bookings, block it out. Don't accept bookings then. And I also block out times. I haven't got an example here, but I'll literally just go to Google Calendar and go, I don't want to take bookings on like Thursday afternoon. I drag a box in there and I literally call it blocked, because Calendly looks at that thing, and if there's an event in there, it won't allow people to book. So I just literally throw things in there that block out time. So this is co-working, for example. If I'm co-working with my friends, I don't want to take bookings, so I just block it out. A couple of other final calendar things. So shared calendars are really good. That orange one is a shared calendar with my wife. Still a weird word to say. After so many years of calling her my girlfriend, 10 to be exact. So it's really handy because like every time we've got something we need to go to together, one of us just puts it in there and I know it's there. Like otherwise I'll forget. She's like, oh, we're going to such and such's house on Saturday. Like I'll forget and I'll book something else in. So shared calendars, awesome. You can import events from Facebook automatically now. You'll have to Google that. I can't remember how to do it. And TripIt is a cool thing that you can forward your travel itineraries to. Fun fact, I was supposed to get back from a month in Europe like today. That didn't happen. Spain, Italy, and UK and Ukraine. That was like 3 of those are like super hard hit countries.
That would have been a nice trip though.
Yeah, it would have been. I've wanted to go to Chernobyl for like a decade.
Oh, wow.
That didn't happen, but it's all good. Well, it's all good for me.
Okay.
It's not good over there. Yeah, not so good. Yeah, but TripIt allows you to forward your flight itineraries to it, and it puts that in your calendar. I know Google kind of does that automatically now, but I guess I don't know. I've just used TripIt since before Google did that, and I kind of like the TripIt ones because you can edit them. The Google ones are weird, and you can't like add notes and stuff. So I don't know. TripIt's cool. And it just pops up as a secondary calendar, so you can turn it on and off or whatever. Typing. This is one of my favorites. A lot of people don't really think about typing as a productivity technique, but there's so much opportunity here. Like, 'cause I'm guessing you do a lot of typing. It could be email, blog posts, like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff, right? First thing, improve your typing speed. Like, if you're rubbish and you're like not using the right fingers, like practice for 20 minutes a day. Like this is a skill you're going to have forever. So you may as well, it's going to keep paying back forever. All of this stuff with productivity automation can be seen like that. You put some time in now and it will continue to pay back forever until it's net positive. And then like you're winning from there. So typing speed, I feel, is really, really important. There's lots of different tools out there to practice. Just Google it. Yeah, I actually thought of this. I stole this from Noah Kagan. He was on a podcast. That's the founder of AppSumo, and he was on a podcast, and he was like, he mentioned typing speed, and it was one of those like, oh, duh, of course, like, it's such a important productivity thing. Voice typing. I use voice typing a lot. I've been doing it for my phone for a long time. Which I'll get into shortly. Like at first it felt like a little weird walking around talking into my phone, and still people are like, did you just try to do voice to text? I'm like, and they say it as if it doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, it's perfect. I just did the message in like 2 seconds and sent it. Didn't have to type it. It was great. People still don't really get how amazing it is. So in Google Docs, there is, you can do tools, voice typing, Control-Shift-S, and that uses the Google engine, obviously, so it's pretty bloody good. And you can put in punctuation, full stop, question marks, new paragraphs. It's pretty good with all of that. In your browser, voice typing adds a browser plugin that uses the Google engine as well, I believe, so it works pretty well. I don't know if I talk about, sorry, on Windows, you can press Windows H, and on Mac, you can press Function key twice. You might have to enable those, but I find they're not as good. after using Windows one for quite a while, and I've heard from the Apple one's not great either. Unless you speak slowly and really quickly, the Google one is so much better. So much better. On Android, depending on what keyboard, that Swift key on the left, that's what I use, and the standard Google keyboard on the right, you just press that button and start talking. On the iPhone, I don't know. I don't know how I think you have a, I know nothing about Apple. I think you have a microphone icon as well. Oh, you do. I got a screenshot. Yep. I Googled it. You have a microphone icon to do the same thing on Apple's. Okay. Text expansion. Oh God, I love this category or this thing. So I use a tool called Text Expander, and that's one of the screenshots I showed at the start that it said it saved me an hour a month or whatever. I save a lot more than that with this. So I use it for all kinds of stuff, right? Like anything that I'm typing regularly. So it could be, in this case, it's like just like the heading from my Web Business Weekly email. I just type .wbw, which you can, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but that's the abbreviation. I just go .wbw in the subject line of an email. It puts Web Business Weekly issue number, and then I go 100, or whatever issue number it is, right? It's just, that's a small example. You can see how many different ones I've got there. And you can do things like even my bank account details. People like after dinner or something, they're like, send me your account details so we can send you the money. It's like, well, that's in there now too, because I don't remember my account number. Links, like if I'm booking, I want to send a booking link to someone for my calendar. I have like 8 different booking links. I just go .b for book. That's just like my naming convention. .cs for a content snare call. .bi for an interview. .bob for a book onboarding. Content Snare onboarding. So I've just got all these different links that I just have my abbreviations for. Don't have to type them out. It's lovely. FAQ, so things that people might ask about in Facebook groups regularly. So this are links to like my blog posts and whatever. And with Text Expander, if you press Control / it's actually a search. It'll bring up a search box on your screen. So if you don't remember all of these, and you've got all your blog posts in there, you just know it was about get clients. You just type get clients, and it'll show up on your screen, and you press enter, and the snippet gets expanded. Friggin' amazing if you have to put the same things in there a lot. I even use this for emojis, right? I have a shared library. I don't know if I have this on another slide. You can add other people's libraries into Text Expander, and one of them is emojis. And I don't remember the names for all the emojis. I just go Control / hug or something, and I'm like, oh, there's the hug one. Or, there's all kinds of ones. And so if you're in like a product like LinkedIn, for example, there's no smiley button like there is on Facebook. So you can use that in any app. And I also use it for entire emails. So you can see there, I've got placeholders for first name and use case, whatever. You can even put tab. You can see there, I've got the tab key. So what's happening there is I put my cursor in the subject line. It types thanks and hi, tabs down into the main body, and then pastes that in with the first name and something I typed in. So you can put entire emails in there. I find it better than using, the canned responses in Gmail, because you've got to click down the bottom, click the thing. Sometimes it takes a second to load, click through the menus to do it. Whereas this is just like .gl1 in that case. And it's in there. Things to consider: naming conventions. So you're going to forget this stuff if you don't come up with some naming conventions. So for me, it might be like .cs is Content Snare. So CSW is the Content Snare website. .cswp is the WP admin. JR for Jimmy Rose, JRW, JRWP website, WordPress, JRFB's Facebook, JRTW's Twitter, all these naming conventions so you can actually remember what they are. You changing your prefix suffix. I use dot. A lot of people use semicolon as the prefix that Text Expander monitors to expand the text. I actually think I might change back to that because the dot catches me out a few times. Yeah, and I mentioned the cloud libraries before. You can put other people's information in there, which is cool. Quickly touch on automation. I talk about this a lot, so I'm just going to do this briefly. Zapier, for example, is just, like I said, it saves me like 100 hours a month on automation. It's insane. If you want to learn, if you don't know much about Zapier, you want to learn, there's a free video and blog post just there, Zapier-tutorial at jamiros.me. I think it might be starting to rank if you search Zapier tutorial as well. So open Google and click on it and let Google know that that's the one you're looking for.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
There's loads of other tools other than Zapier though. So IFTTT is one. It's more for very simple workflows. Like I use it for Google Assistant. It has a really cool Google Assistant ability. So I can call on Google and say, add blah, blah, blah to my Trello, and it adds a to-do list item to my Trello, which is amazing. Like I do it when I'm driving and stuff. So I don't want to type when I'm driving. You know what? I do it when I'm in the kitchen and stuff too. I just yell at my phone if I think of something, because I don't want to go over there and open my phone. Integromat's another one. It's a pretty good automation tool. Microsoft Flow that came up before. These are all different tools. Zapier is just simple. Integromat it's awesome, but it's like super complicated. I don't teach Integromat just because it's a hard concept to teach automation already. But when the UI and the product is as complex as Integromat is, it's just like another level of complexity, but it is an extremely capable tool if you want to dig into this. Yeah, that's, I won't dig into that anymore. Just a few final random tips. So pasting from Google Docs to WordPress since Gutenberg, it's been really good. Although they broke something at some point and the image is no longer pasted in as they used to upload to your media library, and now they come in as references to Google Drive, which sucks. So you will have to put the images up if you do it this way. I just found a tool that I've been using for maybe a month now called Word Pigeon, which is Google Docs to WordPress in like a click, and it's pretty new. Like it's only early days. But it's super effective. It's really good at getting images in. It'll use the alt text that you set up in Google, because you can right click on images in Google Docs and set alt text and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's actually really good. They've thought about this a lot. It strips all the shitty styles that Google Docs uses. You can actually say how much you want to strip, whether like if you want to leave colors and stuff in there or strip all of it out. Yeah, super handy because it's just so easy for writers to work in. So like I pretty much always, even I use work in Google Docs. I still see people typing into WordPress, which this looks, I don't know, I don't like that idea. Much prefer Google Docs because then you've got it there forever as well if you need to put it somewhere else. I think you can even copy it to Medium later if you need to. Like, yeah, so easy productivity tool. Oh, sorry, yeah. If you do use this system, just copy and paste, you can use this plugin, and then when you save the post, it'll actually go out, get those images, fetch them, and put them in the media library. I forgot about that. It's because I don't use the system anymore, but I use Word Pigeon. But this is actually, it's been really good. I just activate it when I want to do a post, and it'll actually go and fetch all the remote images and dump them into the media library, which is great. Video speed controller. Unfortunately, you can't speed this video up because it's live. But for any other video, if you're watching this on a replay, you could listen to me at 1.5 or even 2x. Well, that might be a bit much because I talk kind of fast already. But really great, like because it just adds a little controller on any website you're on to speed up video. Literally the key D is the shortcut to speed up video by 10% or by in 0.1 increments. So I just hit that 5 times whenever I watch a video and speed it up. I mentioned about IFTTT I use to create custom commands into my Trello. So there's an example. Just you can do this with anything, right? Anything that IFTTT integrates with, you could turn on, turn off, create all kinds of custom commands for Google Assistant, which is cool. Getting there, web-based messenger. So if you're using WhatsApp, Instagram, all these kind of things, there's usually some kind of web-based thing, which is much faster to type on than your phone. I spend, a lot of time on Messenger. I have Messenger open most of the day because I don't want to see Facebook.com. I just have Messenger.com open because I do a lot of business chats on there. WhatsApps as well. There's a WhatsApp web, just look up that and it's great. And controversial and unknown tool is get a real frigging computer. And I don't mean Windows, I mean a desktop, not a laptop. The difference is insane. A lot of people still operate off a laptop and think it's fine and it feels fine until you get on a desktop and you realize how much faster everything is. Even if it's just everything you do is 20% faster, it adds up. Like you're doing a lot of things on a computer over the course of a day. So I am a big fan of just having a big beefy desktop computer with a hardwired internet connection. like, I know no one's got hardwired internet connections anymore, but it makes such a difference. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. It's just one of my favorite unknown productivity tools that no one talks about. And if you're worried about using two computers, I got a laptop sitting behind me and my second monitor that I just pick up and go and sit on my deck and work there, plug it all in together. And because everything's cloud-based now, I just leave where I left off. There's never any trouble with switching between computers. I do it multiple times a day sometimes. Final stuff, not so much like super productivity hacky tool stuff. Get good sleep. Go to the gym, like work out. Like I see so many people, especially in the agency space, not taking their health seriously. And like I get way less productive when I'm unhealthy. It just, when you feel better and you got more energy, you get more stuff done. Other than, like, I mean, lifting weights, I think is super, super important because it holds your body together, like literally like bone density and like muscles hold your joint together. Like it's such an important thing that not enough people do. I force myself to do it now. Like I hate going to the gym. It's not like gym time. It's or like, I resent every single time I have to go to the gym or go and work out outside now that Corona's here. But it's just so important. I feel it helps you sleep as well. So it's funny to say that's a productivity tool, but it is, and it's super important. That's it. If you want to stay in touch, I release regular YouTube videos on cool ideas to automate your business and different productivity tricks and whatever. That's at jamiroz.me/YT or jamiroz.me if you just want to check out some articles and sign up, whatever, and Instagram. That's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, James. I'm laughing because Mike Killen just posted a comment, said, got to get big to be big. So apart from that, we do have a couple questions. Cool. Also for Mike Killen, do you have, if you have affiliate links for any of these great tools that you have suggested? I think Kevin already handled your text expander one. Thanks for that, Kevin. He went to your site and got your affiliate link for text expander.
You're a legend.
Yeah, good job. That's what this community is all about. And
actually,
but if you have any,
you know what? Random offer. I currently have a text expander course that gets sold for $17. If anyone wants that, just reach out to me and I'll give it to you. Anyone listening to this.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a 6-part mini course that just shows all my just best things that I like to use text expander for and all like the different advanced tricks. It goes through basically everything you could want to know about text expander.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, and
reach out to me at, go to jamiroz.me, go to the contact form and use that, or Jimmy at jamiroz.me, whatever.
Perfect. And can they comment on this video in the group as well and reach out to you?
Oh yeah, sure. You'll need to drop your email address in, and awesome. I'll have to make sure it doesn't add you to the email list automatically. It may do that. I don't know.
All those machines and working, all that automation. Right. The other one, recommended resources for getting started with Zapier. I can answer that, of course.
Yeah, so actually that's worth talking. Zapier-tutorial, jamiroz.me/Zapier-tutorial. Or go and watch it directly on YouTube, search for Zapier tutorial and find it for me, because I'm trying to outrank a few people there, so pretty please. That goes into the basics. I have a Zapier intro course, which is actually bundled up in that text expander course for $17, which I don't even know if there's a direct link to go buy that, but of course, yeah, I do have the full course that goes into everything with Zapier, basics and advanced, which is on sale for like $200 right now. So, but I still say go and start with that Zapier tutorial. All the information's there if you do, if you want to take it to the next level after watching that.
Awesome. I think I'm just scanning through. I think I got all the questions. Thank you, everybody. James, you'll have to check out the group after we're done here and see all the comments, because people were very active. Thank you guys for all of it. And there's people put in some of their own little tips in there as well. So that's fantastic. Cool. This is really great. Thank you so much. Awesome. If you want to rewatch this, I know Beth said that she was distracted by email during part of this presentation. So
Oh, it's easy to do when you're on video. And I know Beth's seen this presentation before, so I think it's like,
but she said she will rewatch it even. So this is great. And it's available in the group. So it's the recordings here. Yeah.
Here's another hot tip. In Calendly, make sure you put in buffer time between meetings. I didn't do that, and it allowed people to book in back to back this morning. So as soon as I get off this, I have another call. And as soon as I get off that, I have another call, and I'm dreading the rest of this morning. So put in a 15-minute buffer between meetings so you can do something.
Yeah, and that's a setting in Calendly. You can actually.
It is, yeah. I clearly missed it for whatever meeting they booked this morning. Damn it.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. It's on there James, for most of my events, but
awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. Everyone watching, James, Jimmy, I always call you both. I don't know.
Good, yeah.
Jimmy's in the group, so you can ask some questions there. You can reach out to him here. He's got all of his contact stuff right there. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the group.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Emily.
Have a good day. See ya. Yep. Bye.